guys, welcome back to my channel, DIY Decor. Today I got some cute little churches and a cross for you guys. So the first church, I'm going to take these two arrows. So one of them is kind of longer and rectangular and the other one's kind of shorter, more square. And I'm going to take the shorter one and I'm going to score it down the middle just so that I can break it in two and have two separate pieces. Now this would have been so much easier to use some type of manual saw or skill saw. I did not. I scored it. So it did take me a while. After I get the pieces scored, I do give them a sanding. Even the longer piece, I sanded it as well because they've got some pretty frayed edges when they come from the Dollar Tree. Anyways, I'm just going to be putting these together. But first I want to patch those holes, so just using some of the spackling from the Dollar Tree. And then I give all of these a coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then once they're dry, I'm going to start assembling them together with just some hot glue. And then this is just a piece of wood that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to glue the bottom of the church right on top of that piece of wood. Now on to the other church. So now I'm going to use two of those longer arrows and then one of the shorter arrows. And I'm going to cut those little eaves off. So again, I'm going to score them. It would have been much easier to use some type of saw. I do have to go in and score these several times before those little pieces that hang over break off. And I'm going to do this to all three pieces. And now we have all three pieces with nice pointed tops. One of those longer pieces, I want it to be shorter as well. So I'm going to take and score it and break it in two. And then I sand all of the edges on all three pieces. Now it's time to put these together, so I lay the longer one down first, and then that shorter arrow, I put it down next, and then the longer arrow that we cut in half goes on top. And I use some of the spackling again to cover up the holes, and I do let that dry and then give it a light sanding just so it's nice and smooth. And then using the same paint as before, Waverly chalk paint in the color white, I give it all one good coat of paint. And then I had I had several of those little wooden blocks, and I just used another to attach the church to so that it can stand up on its own. Now this is one of those larger craft sticks that come from Walmart. I just take one, cut it down, and glue it to the front. And here is our first church. And then for the second one, still using that same craft stick, I just take and cut down some little pieces to glue those together to make a cross. And you'll see I just keep cutting the ends just until I get it to look like I want it to look. And then I'll glue it to the top of the other church. And here's the second church. And here they are, both of them together. Alright, so now onto the cross. Again, this is a wooden Dollar Tree cross, and I'm just going to find the center because I want to draw a line down the cross vertically. And then again, I'm going to draw a line down the center horizontally. And then I make those crisscross lines down the center of the cross, and then I erase the other lines so that all I have is that horizontal line, that vertical line, and then those two crisscross lines in the center. Now I'm going to be using Apple Barrels paint in burnt umber, and again that Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Using painter's tape, I was just trying to get somewhat clean, crisp lines. I'm going to be alternating sides and alternating paint colors. And I did decide to fill in that hole with some of the spackling, and after it's dry, I'm just sanding it down a little bit to make it nice and smooth, and continue painting. So after I have all of the brown spaces painted, I go back in and I do the opposite spaces with the white paint. And then I take a small paintbrush and I'm just touching up those uneven paint lines. And I did glue this to an Arteza wood round, and I added a Dollar Tree block to the back for more stability. And I wanted this to have something extra to the base. So I'm using these little white flowers from the Dollar Tree. I just pull them off the stem and just take them apart and start gluing them down to the rounds. And I do layer these just so they have kind of a thicker look to them. And here is our finished piece. Now you could have totally left this off of the little wood round and added this to a wreath, and I think that would have been adorable as well. Here are all three pieces together. You guys definitely let me know what you think. I absolutely love the churches. They're probably my favorite. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that as well. And I will see you guys next time.